N-Put cruising through the airwaves. Transformers knowledge blast that never caves. Reviews so sharp they'll cut through steel. In the podcast world, they're the real deal. Jumping in the deep end, swimming with the best. Danni's got the info and she never needs to rest. N-Put's got the passion like a roaring jet. Together they make a mark you won't forget. Dynamic duo, never gonna quit. Taking over airwaves, super lit. Transformers podcast bringing the heat. Every single episode can't be beat.
That's right. Can't be beat. But yes, welcome to the state of the Transformers fandom. Is negativity taking over the fandom? I don't know. You feeling negative today, Mr. N-Put?
I'm actually feeling pretty good, baby, because it's me. It's that N-Put. I'm mobbing once again with Danny. Did those get bigger? Quadruple D.
Oh my God, you're killing me. God, I think my ego needs to be more inflated. But this, thank you. It's always fun. I hope everyone had a great wherever you are, Canada Day, July 4th. People in the States, everyone was safe, had a great weekend. We just took that off. It was too busy. I was so tired that weekend, but hope everyone's doing good. We're happy to be back and deep dive right into it, I guess, right?
So let's talk about this. So I want to full disclosure out there. Shout out to Gotbot. If you guys don't know who Gotbot is, he does a live stream every single Thursday. He goes over the news. If you guys miss me doing the live Transformers news, Gotbot does it a very similar way with pictures and going through everything and showing you guys and everything else. And so there was somebody in his comment section during his live stream that basically went off on the fandom and about how like the old timers are too negative and they need to get out of the fandom and all this other stuff, right? So got me to thinking about and then I'm jumping ahead. So that piled on top of shout out to Rachel. She brought up a few weeks ago about how there's like a generational shift, I guess, in the fandom as well. And so these two things got me to thinking, is like the negativity aspect in the fandom starting to take over. Maybe it's running a little wild, brother, right? So, and I really got me thinking this last week, because we took last week off, and this is supposed to be last week's episode, but we took it off, like I just said. So I had time to kind of sit and reminisce instead of going into this one like flaming hot, right? I was able to kind of like, wait, no, like kind of think about everything at play, right? So I don't know if it's like a negativity thing. I don't know if it's a situation where people can't take criticism on something that they like or love because they feel like it's a personal attack against them. And a lot of the older fans who have been doing reviews for a long time aren't really so much impressed with modern day action figures from really anybody, but since we're Transformers podcast, I'll say Hasbro, right? And this, like we'll put the earnest on them in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue, we're doing good, man. I appreciate it. So with and the other thing is too is like there seems and this will be wrapped around. I'll bring up the new Devastator in this because this kind of seems to be part of the problem. Is that people are comparing the new Devastator to the Combiner Wars Devastator, and all these people are being upset. Oh, Combiner Wars sucks. The new one is great. The new one's fantastic. All this other kind of stuff. The problem with that is that it's not a product that is available yet for comparison. So until that day happens, the Combiner Wars one, out of the two is the best one. It is a fact, 100% fact. So when you say something like that, these people are getting very upset, and they're, saying things like, all you old people need to get out of the fandom. You're destroying it, yada, yada, yada. And I think that Hasbro isn't doing anything to really quiet that when they, I feel like they really should be. But, they're the ones who joined in on the attack, right? Like, when we went on Unicron.com's website, I feel like a broken record at this point, and they ran down the fandom, right? So like, and they did that during the HasLab Unicron interview. So if anybody wants to know, you guys, there you go. It's the Unicron HasLab interview on Unicron.com's website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, negativity is what drives the news, and it's what sells, and
Yeah.
like that, right? And I feel like if we all just took a step back and was more objective with this stuff, and didn't tie it to a personal person, like our being, right? Like, just because I don't like how a lot of modern day Hasbro's Transformers work or operate or look or whatever, doesn't mean I don't like you. Like, we need to stop tying this stuff to our personal worth, right? What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I just think, like, of course, negativity sells, right? Like, even when you're just watching like a YouTube video, if it's like, hey, this is the best figure ever, and then you see another video right beside it saying this figure sucks, it's trash. Usually you just want to see someone hate on something, so you click on that. Like, the hate kind of drives views. I don't know why. Like, it's, you always hear something about a celebrity that's negative, you're like right in there, right? Diddy and all this shit. So it's like, yeah, I just see like the addiction to the hate. And like, when I was a negative person before I started living like my true life and self, like, I was the executive of negative, right? Like, I love to fire up the negativity, right? And I think it's like you said, like, at that time, anything that I liked too, and people took a shot at, I took personal. I didn't maybe like show it the right way, but like, I'd attack people for other shit just because of this and that. And it's the same. I think, like you said, like, too many people take this stuff a little too personal. Like, I like a lot of the newer stuff lately. I've liked some of the plastics of Age of the Primes. Some of the other stuff is actually better than it has. The QCs have been better. So I'm like, slightly impressed, and I still love it, but, I don't take it to heart. Like, I don't like, I'm not like, I'm not simping for them. I'm not hating on them totally. I'm just kind of in the middle. What comes, it goes. It's fun to collect, but, I just, the hate, the negativity just fires through, like, and yeah, like, I guess you can say that some of the older people have been in it so long, get, more negative. And I do see like the younger crowd a bit more positive on stuff, but not everyone, obviously. Everyone has their own opinions, but, I've watched a few channels too, we'll get back to those honest reviewers one day, but, that, they're younger, and they're hating on some. One guy was hating on the new Devastator and stuff. So, it's not just the old fans or anything, right? But things change. But I think it just drives, like, there's a force behind the negativity, and like you said, people are just so attached to it. It's like, yeah, it's cool. If someone hates it, you don't have to take it so personal. At the end of the day, like you said, it's just perspective. There's some things that are like, are fact. There's some things that are not, right? Objective, subjective matter to it. So it's just like, it is what it is at that point.
My question to everybody out there, why do you let it get to you? If somebody doesn't like the movie that you like, your favorite movie of all time, right? Why does that bother you? Why do you take that so seriously to heart, right? Like, and in this case, why, like, in terms of something like, with something like this, and it's a product for the masses, these should be reviewed. These should be, QC tested and the whole 9 yards, right? Because they are a product for the masses, for mass consumption. And they're not like that. You don't need them to survive, right? They're not essential product. They're not groceries or anything else, right? So like, why get upset if somebody, like a legitimate reviewer, like somebody who takes it seriously, is not here for the clicks, not here for any of that stuff, right? Why do you get upset if they don't like it? Because it, you know, or maybe they do like it. Why do you get upset if it, doesn't correspond with your personal opinion about it, right?
Yeah.
And then go after and attack that person. And I'll say this to Gotbot real quick. He asked, or he said, input: controversy creates cash. If you believe Eric Bischoff, negativity breeds controversy. And I will say this: there's not too much that I believe that what comes out of Eric Bischoff's mouth. But that is a very, very true statement.
Yeah,
So,
it's just like the Eminem factor, It's just like people are gonna listen when you say something controversial, say something negative, right? And like I said, like when you're in that hurting place and you put out the negativity, you want to see the negativity too. Like it's just like an addiction, It's not like you're so negative, you're not gonna go to like a positive thing, like, oh my god, the figure's so cool, It's just like you're just breeding that hate and like, I guess you want other people to join you, like Misery, with Pete Company or whatever. Like, it just kind of feeds into each other,
yeah, and I think that's what's taken over the fandom, right? Is like, there was a time where if something was bad, it was bad.
There you go,
You
Dennis.
know,
Trying to say, yeah, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I
Misery
know.
Loves Company. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but yeah,
Um,
no, it's tough, right? Like, and you know what? I'd like to, there's always in other fandoms too, like like the Mario Kart situation with the Wii. There's people blowing up all over right now, so you see it in lots of fandoms. But yeah, it's just people take it very personal. This hobby, people don't understand. Like some people, this is all they have. Like I love collecting, obviously, but if I lost all this shit tomorrow, like it wouldn't be a big deal. Like it would be, but you know what I mean. Like I'd still collect eventually, but you know what I mean. It is what it is. It's supposed to be a form of entertainment, a hobby, some people, this wasn't even cool like 10, 15 years ago, but necessarily in the same way. Like people used to hate on that.
well, and if you're excited about it, and you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, right? Like, why do you watch the reviews on it? Why do you engage? Why do you, it just, when you see the figures, buy the figure, right? Like if that's your main goal, if Hasbro shows you this new Devastator, or Superion, or whatever the figure is, right?
Look at him holding the screen N-Put. Look at me.
Ooh. If you like what you see, you're done, right? Like just, that's it. You buy the figures, you put them together, you stick them on your shelf, and you drool over them every time you go into your room or your bedroom, your office, or whatever. In Danny's case, you lick them.
Yeah.
Why at that certain point, and I get like fandoms are going to want to interact and share their thoughts and all of this other stuff, but I do feel like the negativity is getting way out of hand. And truthfully, I feel like we're approaching Star Wars fandom territory with how negative, how divided, how the fandom is becoming, right? We're very much closing in on that Star Wars fandom, like being able to be compared to that. And that's something I never thought that I would see in this entire fandom. Like there are, I mean, truth be told, I didn't think I'd see it with Star Wars fandom either, but
Yeah, well, you can see it there. Why? Like, there's too much political shit involved in that. But
yeah.
here, it's like another thing I was gonna say. God damn it, just lost my train of thought.
Well, Blue Raccoon says it depends on perspective. I'm not a G1 kid, but I say a million times I respect the G1 by collecting G1-esque and G1 reissue. And Dennis Gottbot says, agreed about the Star Wars comparison. Look at how quote unquote fans ruined Revenge of the Fallen, or Revenge of the Rise of the Beast and Transformers 1. Guys, there is more than 84, 85, and 86. I agree. I totally agree. And that seems to be part of the problem too, is like Hasbro is so focused on G1, like just so hyper focused on it, and it's alienating a lot of other fans, and they're getting upset, and instead of taking it out on Hasbro, they're taking it out on the fandom because they're not I don't want to say trained, that's not the right word, but like they're, I guess, taught, maybe that's not the right word either, but like there's no like forward thinking to go after the company, right? Because they're the ones who essentially make all this stuff. They attack the fans, and the fans aren't responsible for that. I mean, you can say G1 sells, and that's the whole reason why, but at a certain point, G1 stopped selling, and G1 continues to stop selling, right? Like has with the modern day combiners and stuff, Combiner Wars didn't do very well. So newer combiners, Superion, Devastator, all that stuff, that's going to sell really well, right? Because that Combiner Wars Minosaur, on its own, let down a lot of people, right? So that newer one's going to sell very well. Gotbot says conditioned. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, like, you guys, like, the fandom has to realize that if you want Armada, more Armada, if you want, I am upset. I am upset for the fans who don't have a complete Dinobot Bayverse set, right? G186, dude, they pumped out those Dinobots within a span of 2 years, right? Like, all the Dinobots got made. The only Bayverse Dinobot that is still in the Studio Series line is Grimlock. That's it, right? I am upset because the Bayverse fans don't have their entire Dinobots, their entire team. Why? Like, Hasbro is making everything take a backseat to G1, and fans are alienated, and they're upset, and they're lashing out at each other instead of focusing on who is allowing it to happen, and that's Hasbro, right?
But at least they're taking some, like, they're opening it up a little right now, at least a little more. Because I still like the G1. I'd prefer the G1 stuff over a lot of it anyways, because those Armada remakes that are crap. The animated figures, I think, are just terrible compared to the original toys. So, it's hard to... It's just hard, I'd say. Like, I enjoy getting some of the different brand of toys that are made, but they're comparable to the old toys. They just don't really do it for me. So it's kind of like, at least the G1 ones, like, they are a little bit better than the last one that came out sometimes, not always, but... so you're just waiting to finish that, I guess. I don't know. It's tough. I'd wish, though, after the, Armada Megatron was better, like, but, compared to the old toy, it's just, the new one's okay. It's different, but it's just, it's a hard mix, And then, just with posting stuff, I kind of sat back from posting stuff. Like, I don't want to show everything off anymore, what I got, but, posting a few things and making some quirky videos. I've added a little twist now. I'm seeing a more positive vibe on some stuff, actually, because it's, but before, like I said, I didn't post as much because people were just, like, hating on everything that I posted. Like, not even just me, but just in general. Like, the comments, they're not mad at me, but they're fighting with each other in the comments. And I was just like, I know it's interaction and all, but I just don't want to see that. It kind of makes me, like, bummed out,
Right.
So it's just kind of like I said, add a little twist to something. And, like, I have seen more positive vibes on some stuff lately with Age of the Primes, like, being a little better and some people coming together, and especially, like, people out there collecting I run into. But online, it's still pretty polarizing at times, right?
Yeah. And that's like, and not everybody's going to be, they're not going to like everything, and not everybody's going to be positive, and there's always going to be that one thing. But my whole point in saying all this is, to stop attacking each other, whether it's just like, whether the person that, you go into their live stream or whatever, and they just like G1, and you think like they're the problem or whatever, and you're going after them, or there's a, somebody who's just into Armada or Bayverse or whatever, right? Like, and you're just going after them. Don't do that, right? Like, you have to go after the people who are creating the problem.
Mhm.
You know, you have to have Hasbro hear your voices, and having the fandom negative and divided and everything else, that makes it to where nothing gets done, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And sometimes you're more like get a view on someone's opinions if they're hating or not. Like, some people just because they're in the Transformer scene, they're kind of, kind of following a trend or whatever. So it's cool when you watch other people that are posting videos that are like they're just general toy collectors in general. Like they might collect Turtles, DC, and Power Rangers or whatever. Then they show off like a Transformer, and they're not really in the Transformer thing. So maybe they don't know the history of the figure and all this, but it's cool just to see like what they think of the actual toy itself. They're kind of getting like more of an unbiased opinion, I guess, right? Because they've only dealt with so much. So if they're being negative or positive, it's just kind of you can get a better read off of that than just going to like a purely Transformers channel and then going into the comments and everyone's just freaking going at each other's throats.
Right. Gotbot or Blue Raccoon says, I saw that, Anthony. I needed a box of tissue. Oh, I missed what Blue Raccoon's talking about. Gotbot in the live chat says, the thing is, G1 was such a crap brick. There was so much to update, but like Beast Wars was already pretty terrific. Hard to build on what is already really hood, like animated stuff. Danny said,
Already
yeah,
hood,
I
gangster. It's gangster. The old toys are gangster
Yeah.
compared to those new ones, man. They're so bad, those new ones. I'm sorry.
Well, the old ones were like real gimmick heavy too, and they're like, I don't want to say gimmick heavy. Like that implies like everything, shot.
Yeah, no, they just had more vistas. They had more moving parts. They're the plastic, the feel of them. Like they're their own thing completely. Like they are a piece. Like animated, I used to hate, and then when I started to love it, it's like it's a work of art. Like it's a whole different perspective of the figure. It's cool,
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think, I think like that's something that's lost in a lot of these modern day interpretations, right? Like I'm so, and I was talking to Trans Aaron about this, right? Like I am so G1 burned out, and this goes from Hasbro to Fans Toys to all of that. The only G1 anything that I want to see anybody do at this point is Transformer Zone. That's it. Just everything else, man. Leave Prowl alone. Leave Optimus Prime alone.
Whatever cast alone. I'm so sick of that too, to tell you the truth. But like after they get some of it updated, but I don't mind more of the Japanese stuff, some more Headmaster stuff, it's just I'd love to see more of that. Like you said, Victory Zone, like just anything, like in general, like just out of the blue, like there's so many different ones that we're missing,
And that's very true. And more to Gotbot's point, right? Like if you're not going to do the update properly, then don't attempt to do it, right? Like in the case of like Beast Wars Megatron, like the purple dinosaur form, I feel like that was a pretty good update because as far as like modern day toys go, like the first one is like real gimmick heavy, shot water, and he had like the clamping claw and stuff, but he articulated really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the new one built upon that figure and it kind of made itself better, right? In that regard, like, but in the case of like Cheetor,
yeah, horrible,
dude. If you can't make it better, don't even try it.
Yeah,
right? Like
no, try. Yeah, and the same. Like if Rat Trap would have been better at like a different size, like a bit bigger. And I know they're trying to scale and all this crap, but it's just And the thing is too, like I actually like the old toys more. Like I really do. Like I love the G1. I love the original Modators toys. Almost, I do like them better, I think, than the newer toys. But like you said, they're more like screen or accurate if you want that, or the more like posability. It's cool and all that. Like they just look like everyone loved the old toy, but like of Cook or whatever. But everyone dreamed of like what it could be like in the future, like if it really looked like in the show kind of or closest to it, right? But there's something like nostalgic and just pure and simple about the old toys. I'd love to this day if someone was like you have to give up either the new or the old, I'd strictly collect vintage at this point, Because the new stuff is cool and all, but I do like the old. I just like the old toys in general, like the old box art, just everything. Like I like the simplicity, you know, and that goes from like, you know, RID 2001, you know, the Beast Wars era, like up and down, you know, like it's just you know, Armada. It's just, the old toys are so cool to me. The new ones are good too, but the old plastics and the old feel, and there's just something about them I like more, you know.
And I feel like that, you know, I don't feel like I know this for a fact, you know, looking at all the modern day stuff, right, versus the older stuff. That older stuff is held up a lot better than what this newer stuff will.
It has, yeah, I know.
You know, like in
That's why
20,
so
you know,
cool.
in 20 years, 25 years, where is all that modern day Beast Wars stuff going to go or going to be, right?
Mhm.
Like the thinner plastic, the plastic that turns yellow, like their yellowing issue, all that stuff, man. In 20 years, you'd be a unicorn. This will be my prediction. You will start seeing in about 15 to 20 years, you will start to see Shatterglass Starscream, the Hasbro one, right? The Hasbro Pulse one, whatever it was. If you find one that's not yellowed, you're gonna see that going for like $500, $600, $1,000, right? That's gonna be one of the white whales in Transformers collecting that everybody has to have, right? Like that's my prediction. A yellow one will be on eBay for like $10. A non-yellow one will be on eBay for $500, right? And who knows? Somebody might write a comic later on down the road, right? Where Shatterglass Starscream, that's their Starscream. They don't know any better. He's supposed to be all white. So they write him and they color him and they draw him and he's yellow and white now, you know? And then Transformers fans be like, dude, he's only yellow because the plastic degraded and the figure sucked. And now it's like a permanent color change.
Yeah. It's funny. Just sell it with a pack of cigarettes, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, dude, setting your mom's car or something for too long, or your grandma's car.
Yeah.
It's for you, sugar.
Yeah, it's freaked and yellow.
my point in all this, if you guys are listening out there, let your voices be heard to Hasbro. Okay, I know they say that, you know, they're on the forums and, you know, they watch all this stuff and they have a social media, this, that, or other, or whatever, right? But, you know, get a petition going. Tell them, like, you want the rest, all your Bayverse people, you know, get your other Dinobots, bro. Like, make a petition. We, you know, get 20, 30, 40,000 signatures on it, whatever, right? Like, get your voices heard outside of social media in that way that social media does it, right? Like, just get it out there. Be louder than everybody as a cohesive unit and stop going after each other's throats the way that it's been done.
Storm the Capitol. I'm not a crook. But no, yeah, the input's right. Get out there. Be heard, you know. Yeah, it's just, you know, if you want change, you have to do more than just complain online at this point.
Yeah, 100%. So, Danny, what are we doing next week, man? What do we?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if we have anything set up. But I mean, you know, we haven't done any of the polls, but we'll figure that out. Hey, I'm not sure if there's any more leaks or if there's anything like big and heavy news wise. I'll put it up, and then otherwise we'll just think of some more topics. And we got endless topics, but it's just on the spot, not 100%. But
yeah, we can talk about late bloomers. I don't know.
Think of it. We'll get in the works. There's a few I got on mine. So, and then we'll probably have another poll vote for the end of the month or something too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. So look forward to that, guys. And I don't know what else to say except for thanks for being here, listening to us chit chat and run our mouths about a fictional war that goes on in outer space over energy, right?
Yeah.
Next topic. Blue Raccoon says, next topic, why alt mode packing works. I will answer this one right now. We don't need a 30-minute podcast. Okay. Yeah. Packaging, your figure in alt mode, not only does it save space on the shelf, and places like Target, Walmart, and all that stuff, they can fit more on the shelf, but it also helps with the puzzle factor of a Transformer when you get them out of the package. You feel accomplished when you figure out the puzzle, and that's part of what a Transformer is, a puzzle. So there you go.
And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us in chat. Nice to see Dennis here, everyone else as usual. It's an amazing time, always fun. And just remember, if I have it and you don't, you gotta hate me. And Hasbro has been slipping.
Hasbro, more like Hasbro has been. Danni Dolphin's drinking up the high plate milk in the kitchen. Sycophant keep drinking up the Hasbro. More like Hasbro has been. Danni Dolphin's drinking up the high plate.
The state of the Transformers fandom, they're still crying over 86 randoms. Go ahead and do it again, go ahead and do it again. Let's start a fight over Unicron Trilogy. This one side, that one side, you and me, you and me, you and me. I got a little headache and it's kinda tough, cause I just realized no topic's too hot, no topic's too hot, no topic's too hot. It's so sickening, but this is how it goes. Thank you for watching the show. Tune in next week for another exciting topic. You either love us or you hate us, or you love to hate us, but together